Okay, so the Nintendo Direct just happened yesterday, and I've needed a little bit of time to collect my thoughts on it, because this just feels kind of pointless. You know what I mean? Like, why was this a Nintendo Direct at all? I think a lot of us came out of it with the understanding that this should have just been an overview trailer. There's no reason this needed to be a Nintendo Direct. So yeah, Mario Kart World, we all love it. At least most of us love it. Those who are willing to pay $80 for it, we love it. It makes sense. This is the first Mario Kart in over 10 years. So yeah, there's a lot of hype surrounding this. And there has been hype surrounding it since it got announced. And then we heard about the price being $80, as you know. And yeah, the world was just kind of angry. Like, why did this need to be $80? There is no game, there is no chance any game can even be thought of as $80. That doesn't make sense. Nobody's ever crossed that bridge. There's rumblings of GTA 6 being $100, which would be crazy, but now they don't seem as insane because Nintendo did it first with a Mario Kart game, the biggest game in the world. Nintendo Switch had Mario Kart, and it sold over 65 million units, which is like, hey, yeah, that's a good amount of Nintendo Switch games sold. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of games. I don't even know. I can't even picture 65 million units. You know what I mean? But regardless, this game has been wanting to come out. People have wanted this game to come out for a very, very long time. Makes sense. But that being said, everyone also assumed that this next Mario Kart had to be something insane. They must be doing something crazy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, they have to be doing this if it's over 10 years. They must be cooking up something really, really good. So, when we heard about it at the April 2nd Nintendo Direct, I mean, we got a lot of information. We got a new open world. We got the fact that there's so many racers, like characters in it. And yeah, open world. And then we would assume that, you know, everything else kind of from the last game carries over to this game, just with the new mechanics, new characters, all that stuff. So, anyways, it was all good and dandy. Then they announced the price, and people were angry. Everyone thought that there needed to be more than this, right? Well, guess what? Nintendo reps said, hey, there's more to come at this Nintendo Direct. Stay tuned. Trust me, it'll be worth $80 at the Nintendo Direct. The Nintendo Direct came, and we learned like 2 or 3 more things. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So the first thing they touched on was the interconnected worlds, which, yeah, that's great. We already knew about this from April 2nd, so I don't need to touch on it too much. Pretty much, you can drive in between the track. It's one big open world. You can drive to a track, and then you can drive to another track. Whoa, who could have seen this coming? But something that they did show off that was technically new for Mario Kart World, but was very expected. Actually, no, they didn't even show this off for the first time. We already knew about the Grand Prix. So yeah, they showed off the Grand Prix, but we got names of the cups. And, of course, we get to know that, hey, a colorful course is coming. If you beat them all, I guess that's probably going to be Rainbow Road. Makes sense to me. They touched on Knockout Tour as well. And if you don't know what Knockout Tour is, that's pretty much, it's a Battle Royale style. A Battle Royale style with 24 people. If you fall behind, you're getting out of there, which makes sense. Now, Knockout Tour seems really fun, but I thought for sure they would do like a Knockout Tour thing in battle mode, and you know, that would imagine an open world Knockout Tour where you throw like Battle Royale. There's 50 people on the map, and you could just throw items at each other, and then it's kind of like Fortnite where the storm kind of comes in. I just feel like that would have been a really cool idea, but spoiler alert, they didn't show anything off like that. But anyways, Knockout Tour, we get it. Then they showed off more about the free roam. We already knew about this, but the big kicker here is that you get to hit these P switches, and there's hundreds of missions that you can go across the map. There's so many to do that you can, and it's mainly to what they say is improve your driving skills outside of races. So I don't know if this actually does do many things. Maybe it unlocks those stickers, maybe it unlocks some sort of advertisement thingy. Who even knows? But right now, it doesn't seem like a very promising single-player experience so far. Next up, we got Battle Mode, baby. Now, this was a big disappointment for me. They showed off Battle Mode, and I thought, like I said, this would be maybe 50, 100 people on the open world map. This is a great opportunity to really utilize that open world map. Fortnite mode it up. Can you imagine if they just use that whole thing? But really, this seems like the generic battle mode that we all have been used to. This does not seem any special. And I've never really been a battle mode fan, to be honest. I've never played the latest Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and wanted to even play battle mode. It just does not interest me at all. They did a big battle mode thing in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe compared to Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, but even still, it really never interested me. But yeah, I just feel like there could have been so much more potential with this. And not even just battle mode alone. I mean, the courses for battle mode. I think we've only seen saw 2 or 3. 2, maybe 3. Why? Tell me why, if it's an open world, you can't just do it anywhere on the map. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we also heard about new techniques. This charge jump thingy. Now, I'm surprised that they showed off a new technique. I wasn't actually expecting any new techniques because, hey, people have been playing this game for weeks already at this point. We saw this game a lot during the Treehouse. We saw this game a lot during the Nintendo Switch 2 experiences. And I'm surprised they I guess they removed this charge jump feature, or maybe no one haven't used it. I don't even know. I'm going to play this at the end of literally in a week. I'm going to play this game in a week. I wonder if they'll actually enable charge jump moves thingies. Probably not, but I find it odd that they took out an entire charge jump move for these demos. This feels like something that they should have brought up. Like, why did they have to get rid of this move? Why did they wait till the direct to show this off? That's what I really don't understand. And I think it's kind of cool that unless they did show it off and I just didn't see, that'd be kind of awkward. Why am I still harping on this if they did show it off? But yeah, I guess you can jump on other people, other objects. It makes it easier to go and grind on those rails. I mean, it's cool. I actually like jumping in kart racers. I never mind them. Disney Speedstorm had it, and they also had like this grinding rail thing, and it was used really well. And this seems like a fun little technique, and really, really expands the horizons of these courses, I think. But you know what? Maybe no one used this. Maybe it won't be the new meta. But I think I'm glad they showed it off here. Now we also got 24 racers. They went more in depth on all these 24 racers things. Mario Kart World features races up to 24 participants from around the world. Makes sense. We already got that. I'm reading off a page here. And Mario Kart World offers multiple ways to play, locally or online. So yeah, up to 4 players can play local split screen. Now I don't know if any of you noticed this, but it was actually 30 frames per second when there was 4 people on the race on the screen, which surprises me. I don't really know why it has to be 30 frames per second. The Switch 2 is so much more powerful. I thought for sure they wouldn't have to chop the frame rate in half, just like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So that surprises me. But it looks like with 2 or less players, it runs at a full 60 frames per second. I'm not sure if it can do 120 frames per second. I'd imagine they'd want to do that, but I don't know why you wouldn't be able to do that. It seems like it's primarily 4K 60 frames per second with single and multiplayer. And anyways, players from around the world can join a race and battle in online play as well. Which would be amazing. Which is amazing. I'm glad that. And then they also showed off game chat and the camera play. I did a whole video on camera play on my main channel, Russ Vandy. You can go check that out. But my point was, nobody's going to use this camera feature, at least not as many people as I think Nintendo's hoping. I don't really know why you'd need to see someone else's face if you already know the character they're playing as. But even then, I don't understand why you'd want to do this. But I guess it's cool. I'm going to buy a camera still. They also showed off some courses. Not that many. We already saw... They showed off a course like Mario Bros. Circuit, which we've already seen. And then they showed off Crown City, the snowy trails of Starview Peak, and the Spirited Boo Cinema, which is great. They're showing off a lot of these retro tracks, but all these retro tracks are pretty much rebuilt so far up from the ground that they actually look like brand new tracks. So everything just looks new and feels new. Now, apparently there's only like 30 tracks or 32 tracks, which is like nothing compared to the 96 tracks we got in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But I'm sure they're going to expand it a little bit more in the future. And these tracks are going to feel a lot bigger. Like, they're going to feel a lot bigger for sure. So I don't think many of us will actually care that there's less tracks on paper. Now, they also showed off the characters. They said, hey, we have so many characters to play as. And then they didn't show any new characters to play as. They're like, yeah, we got your standard Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser. We all knew this. And then they said, oh, but for the first time, you can play as Goomba, Spike, and even the cow from Moo Moo Meadows. Which is, yeah, that was a big shock during the April 2nd Direct. It was like, whoa, there's so many enemies that you can play as. This is amazing. I'll buy it. The problem with this, and the characters in general, this was a big expectation for me going into the Nintendo Direct. I thought for sure they were going to show off like a ton new characters, because even though that doesn't really make that much of a difference in the grand scope of things in Mario Kart just in general, I think that characters are such a little thing that are, I feel, pretty easy to implement, and they really blew us away with all these characters in Mario Kart World. But they didn't show off any new ones, which really, really sucks. I thought for sure this Mario Kart was going to be kind of like a Nintendo Kart. You got The Legend of Zelda, Inklings, Animal Crossing characters. Like, you bring back these franchises from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then boom. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you do this? This is such a bigger game than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or at least they should be selling it to us like it's a bigger game, but they haven't really shown off why this is such a bigger game, aside from the fact that it costs $20 more. It just doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest. And characters would have been such an easy thing to show off, like new characters. Maybe they're trying to save some of these characters as like a surprise for when the game launches, which could totally be the case. But I mean, even one or two brand new characters that we haven't seen before, like the cow, would have been amazing. Like, that would have just been amazing. I was so looking forward to this whole character section, but they didn't even do anything. Like, they didn't show it off. Like, that was devastating. Now, I do think that we will most likely get, the Legend of Zelda characters. You got Link, maybe Zelda, but definitely Link. I feel like Link is going to come back in maybe a DLC pack, which actually brings me to a whole other thing. They didn't show off DLC, which makes sense. They didn't really explain how they were going to keep people entertained with updates moving forward, which surprises me. My theory is that they were going to show off paid DLC, but they scrapped that from the presentation, which is why it was only 15 minutes. I feel like they could have absolutely expanded on this more with paid DLC like Link, like Inklings. But I mean, still, what are you going to do? I'm sure they'll come eventually. It just surprises me that they didn't bring that up or show off any new characters when they had an entire new section for characters. Like, a lot of this didn't even need to be brought up, which brings me to my next point. Items. There are not that many more items than in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or at least no items that drastically change the game. You got this new coin shell thing, which lets you throw the shell and then give you coins, which, okay, great. Thank you for the extra coins. A lot of these actually seem pretty coin-based. Actually, what am I talking about? Definitely the coin shell seems coin-based. And then you got the Hammer Bro thing, which actually does look pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. And then they brought in the Mega Mushroom, which lets you grow big and squash your rivals, which I'm pretty sure was in Mario Kart Tour. But then, of course, you get to use the Feather, which was actually in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in battle mode, but I don't think it was in the races. And it pretty much just lets you jump over shells and jump over other things, which, again, is kind of weird considering the fact that they gave us this new jumping mechanic, so I don't even know. There's also this new Kamek magic transform thingy that lets you transform people into other racers, which doesn't really... what's the point of this? They just become different characters? It's weird. I really don't see the point of the Kamek transform thing. Maybe I didn't understand. Oh yeah, it's also a good time to mention, I didn't stream this direct because I was extremely ill. I was extremely ill. I had it scheduled and I was so sick I couldn't even, even when the direct was going on, I was so sleepy I could barely keep my eyes open. But I did. I rewatched it since. But anyways, yeah, the items don't seem crazy to me. Again, there's nothing game-changing here. They didn't show off anything so wildly new that it needed to be in a direct. But they did give us a little more detail on the food, the drive-through and roll-out mechanic thingy. Oh wait, that's just what it says on this app, drive-through and roll-out. You can make a pit stop at Yoshi's for local delight. Dash food is what it's called. These to-go orders will give you a speed boost and sometimes also unlock outfits that can be donned from the character selection screen. There are plenty of dishes and outfits to find, so drive through when making your way around Mario Kart World. This is a dumb mechanic. I'm gonna say it, I don't like this mechanic. I don't understand the point of this. You know what I mean? I understand it. If it unlocks new costumes, that's great, that's cool. But at the beginning of a match, I choose the skin or costume I want to use. So why would I want to go and change it unless I'm unlocking it? This doesn't make any sense to me. You choose what costume you want, so why is it changing it for me as a mechanic? Aside from the speed boost, I guess the speed boost is good, but now I'm a character I don't even want to play as. Or a costume I don't want to play as. What's even... Like, there's no reason that it needs to be here. There should be an option for you to change it, and maybe there is an option. Maybe there's an option where you don't actually have to change your costume if you don't want to change it. I just find it odd that they're showing this off as like, oh, this is great. It now changes your costume. Like, I don't want my costume to be changed. Why is it here? Why am I doing this? What's the point of this? I'm excited to see all the costumes, and don't get me wrong, I do love the costumes. I'm glad they showed this off when they did. I just don't understand why you'd want to change your costume when you don't want to change your costume. Is this through all the races too? I think this is just for all the, like, during a standard race. You just get to change your costume for whatever reason. You get a speed boost, but now your costume just changed. Like, what the heck? Now they showed off even more modes. We got time trials. Makes sense. The classic versus races. And I actually like that you can do the same versus, like the same tracks over and over again instead of doing the whole Grand Prix. You got the versus race, you got the time trials, and then they showed off this, I think it's new, a new team mechanic where you can play in teams. I think that's new. But they explain these modes as if they were new and they had never been in another Mario Kart game. This is like classic Mario Kart. I don't know why they would think, obviously this is gonna be in the new game. Like, we don't even need to hear about this. But then they showed off these new, I say new, but they're not new. The same assistants for the younger folks out there, or maybe the really old folks. The auto accelerate and the tilt controls for motion control steering, and then of course they show off that nice little Joy-Con 2 wheel, which is now more expensive, by the way. It's a different discussion, but now it's more expensive. But this makes sense. Auto accelerate, and yeah, that's fantastic. That's pretty much everything new they showed off. Even so, it wasn't really all new. Now, I think a lot of the problems here could have easily been avoided. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of this here could have easily been... Imagine if during the Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd, imagine if they didn't show off that it was open world, because they didn't need to. Imagine if they just didn't show that off, or they didn't show off all these characters that you could play as. Because once again, they didn't need to do that. They didn't need to show off the costumes. If they had held all that stuff back for the Direct and showed off that there was over 50 racers, 50 characters to play as, if they showed off there was this new open world map zone that you could go anywhere on this map, if they showed off this new items and the burger thing, like, they didn't need to show off everything during April 2nd, and I think because they kind of went all out on April 2nd, there was nothing to show off during this Direct. There was nothing new to show off. And I think that's what made a lot of people very angry that there is, I don't want to say very angry, but disappointed. Disappointed like myself. That's why this did not hit as hard as it needed to hit. This was an overview trailer. They could have dropped this trailer randomly on a day one. They didn't need to hype it up for 2 weeks via a Nintendo Direct. They could have just dropped this one random day, even if it was a month before launch, and everyone would be happy if there was nothing building to this. But I think because the expectation was so high, we got higher up some reps from Nintendo saying, you'll know why it's going to be $80 because of this Direct. This Direct will explain why it's $80. But it didn't. If anything, it just makes me and other people more questioning why it is $80. This doesn't even seem like that big of a step from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So this is just an odd situation. This is an odd scenario. And yes, I say it's $80 when technically most of us are going to buy the bundle anyways with the Switch and get it for $50. So this is technically a $50 game. If you want to look at it that way, that's kind of how I'm looking at it to make it make sense. But anyways, yeah, this Mario Kart Direct, really hurt the game. It hurt it more than it helped it, that's for sure. So those are my thoughts, those are my opinions. And let me know what you think about the Mario Kart Direct. Was it worth it to you? Did you like it? Give it a ranking from S to F in the comments below. All right, see ya.